back in the grave.
Well, I did it again. Yeah. Welcome to Clouding the Senses. This week we are going to be discussing this past weekend's Vape Expo New Jersey, but not what everyone's expecting. We're not going to talk about the hoopla or the senator or anything like that. We're going to talk about the advertising, because that was an aspect of aesthetics that was heavily on display this weekend. Now, there's a couple different things that happened for the advertising. The first one that came to mind, just looking straight at everything, was all the various costumes that some people were using. Now, as you can see, we've got the one guy dressed as a king. That was Vape Meister. We've got the pirate. We've got the zombie and the zombie hunter. There were a couple other costumes, such as there was a Santa, reindeer, and elf. And there was a young lady in, well, the absolute minimum clothing possible to be legal with body paint as well. Now, the problem with the costumes is, for the majority of them, they didn't really connect with the juice. Vape Meister, yeah, it's a king. Meister, I can get it. Zombies, that knocked out of the park with respect to remembering the juice for the costume. The pirate, I don't remember the name of the brand. I remember they had a pirate-themed line, but I don't remember the brand. And Lord help me for trying to remember what brand the body paint girl or Santa, his elf, and his reindeer were. That was costumes. Next up comes vehicles. This is bad drip. The main reason I remember it is because of the immense bright light on top of the display. There's this nice big old panel van with a thump stereo system, etc., etc. But, it's a panel van. No matter how cool you make it, a Corvette's still going to trump it. And yes, do you even vape, bro? But near the panel van itself was the Audi from the Vape League. And finally, from Nicobine, the Ferrari and the girl in the blue dress. And I doubt she even vaped. Wait, no, she's holding a vape. Never mind. Now, as I mentioned, it's sometimes hard to remember what the advertising connected to, which means it failed. Now this, it has Cannabine on the side because apparently they're going to be doing things we can't discuss. But the point is, vehicles, unless it's plastered all over the vehicle, you won't remember. This is E-Juice Bar. I honestly don't know if that's the name of the company or just what they called the bar. And it was expensive to make because all that copper tubing, but it's steampunk, I guess. But was it E-Juice Bar? I don't know. On the other hand, Sacred, it's really simple. She has the juices. She has items near the juices that are of a similar shape to the symbol that they represent, such as the fossil shells for the Fibonacci, the 8-sided crystals for the octahedron. Now, I have no clue what flavors those are, but that's a different matter. Then you had the super professional looking setups like Dovepo and Halo. And these, well, they clearly show what they are, and they look like they were, extremely polished, extremely, businesslike. For Dovepo, that works great because it has that whole color scheme, and they're built around hardware and tech and all of that. For Halo, Well, it works. It gets attention because it was a really tall-backed booth. Now, the next aspect is the flavors themselves. There are different things that people use to advertise their flavor, such as these gas pumps for Redline. And there, it worked. I remember Redline because it's automobile terms, 30s era gas pumps, and I don't think that's actual juice in the pumps, but it wouldn't surprise me. Then you had this, which looks great. It tells you what the flavor is. I don't remember the brand. There's skulls there, but I don't think it had anything to do with skulls. Now I can tell that's a Trix, that's a pineapple, that's donut holes, and that's a Captain Crunchberry, but I don't remember what brand. And then there's E-Juice to Die For. Very, very clear cut. It's even got the name of the brand on the teeth of the skull. It's got the theme of the brand, and it works great. And it's got a nice little horn effect from the two juice bottles. Then you have Sinking Ship Vapors, which again maintains a theme with the name right there, so you remember it. That's well done. And finally, the last bit of aspects I'm going to do is I am going to show off box mods. But they're not normal box mods. Notice the sides of this particular type of box are rounded off, making them more comfortable, more easier to hold, with decorations on the flat sides. The same booth had these wavy boxes. It's rounded corners slightly. It would still have a problem there, but it would fit in the heel of the palm a bit better because the switch was on the larger curved side as opposed to the one that had the more extreme kind of hit to it. I have their business card. I do not remember the company's name. So, there we have it. The aesthetics of advertising. We saw what worked and what didn't. Things that you remembered the name. You remembered what it was about. And ones where you remembered the advertising, but you didn't remember what it was about. We've seen this on television commercials. How many commercials have you seen that featured an extremely attractive model or something, but you don't remember what they were selling? How many commercials have you seen where it's been nothing but what they're selling, but it was boring? Back in the late 60s, early 70s, Volkswagen made a landmark ad campaign where it was nothing but a photograph of the Beetle, Volkswagen. Empty page otherwise. Everyone remembered the Beetle. And it was so different that in and of itself it was memorable. And it was probably one of the most successful ad campaigns of all time. So on the other hand, I saw a video on YouTube, a commercial for some drink that had a whole lot of anthropomorphic animals dancing around a tropical paradise. I have no clue what brand that was. I was just confused, saying, why are they, what's going on? And so, aesthetics, it's more than just, just how things look. It's also how memorable they can be. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the door and let the cats back in. And we'll get into the squirreling section of the video.